Y'all, let's talk about the madness unfolding right now, because this ain't just another celebrity trial, this is something way bigger. The Diddy trial has taken a sharp left turn, and right in the middle of it is none other than Bishop's T.D. Jakes. Yeah, that T.D. Jakes. The man known for preaching fire on Sundays is suddenly in the spotlight for reasons nobody saw coming. We're not talking about a random name drop either. We're talking courtroom drama, freaky parties, lies, threats, and a whole dark circle being exposed, allegedly led by Diddy himself. So here's where it starts getting wild. In court, shocking testimonies started flooding in. Accusations of kidnapping, beatings, and threats involving celebrities and bodyguards. One witness even claimed she was dragged from her apartment, shoved into a car, and taken to Kid Cudi's house to kill him. Why? Because Cudi was dating Diddy's ex, Cassie. Another story says a bodyguard gave daily lie detector tests to a woman over some missing jewelry. He told her if she failed, she'd be tossed in the East River. Real mafia vibes. But just when everyone thought the worst had already come out, T.D. Jakes stepped up and named names. Like actual names. People connected to Diddy's so-called dark circle. And the thing is, these aren't D-list names. These are powerful figures across business, religion, and entertainment. People who, according to Jakes, weren't just at the parties. They were part of what was happening behind those closed doors. Now hold on. T.D. Jakes isn't just some random voice speaking out. This man has been a spiritual advisor to presidents. He's got ties to the highest levels of influence. So when he stood up and said, "These are the people involved," the entire courtroom shook. And the fallout, immediate. Public statements flew out like confetti. Denials, carefully worded PR crafted rejections, everyone acting like they were victims of some big misunderstanding. But you could feel the panic. They weren't just denying, they were spinning. Meanwhile, the internet exploded. Hashtags about justice, T.D. Jakes, and Diddy's empire were trending everywhere. And of course, the conspiracy theories followed. People dragging up old clips, blurry photos, interview quotes, trying to connect all the dots. Even Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr., got dragged into this, his name showing up during jury questioning. Then it got deeper. Michael B. Jordan allegedly threatened by Diddy over Cassie. Mike Myers and others being randomly name-checked in court. No one knew why half these people were involved, but the implication was chilling. Nobody was off limits. And let's not pretend like T.D. Jakes' own reputation came out squeaky clean. His connection to Diddy raised eyebrows even before all this. People started questioning why a Christian leader would even be in Diddy's orbit to begin with. Some chalked it up to business, others suggested he was there to save souls. But now, with the new allegations, folks are wondering if he knew more than he let on all along. And maybe, just maybe, he's speaking out now because the walls are closing in. Let's be clear. This isn't just about Diddy being wild at parties. This is about control, manipulation, and a carefully hidden network of elites who've allegedly been working behind the scenes for years. T.D. Jakes dropping those names didn't just make headlines, it made enemies. And with everything unraveling so fast, the real question now is, how far does this go? Because if these allegations are even halfway true, this isn't just a trial anymore, it's an earthquake. The courtroom wasn't the only place shaking. The second T.D. Jakes went public with his list, a whole wave of new voices came forward. People who had stayed silent for years suddenly found the courage to speak. Former insiders, partygoers, assistants, even a few artists who once rode the wave of Diddy's fame, all began dropping hints or outright confessions about what they witnessed. It wasn't just hearsay anymore. These were people who'd been in the room, seen the behavior, and heard the order. One of the biggest moments came when Dawn Richard, former member of Danity Kane and one of Diddy's past proteges, testified under oath. Her voice trembled, but her words were sharp. She said she'd seen Cassie get assaulted over something as small as a late dinner. Eggs weren't ready, and suddenly there was yelling, a skillet flying, Cassie curled up on the floor. Then came the kicks, the dragging, broken glass, and a next day warning, keep your mouth shut or people go missing. Her story hit like a gut punch, not just because of the violence, but because it matched the other accounts too perfectly. More and more women began testifying to similar treatment. One even described being forced to take lie detector tests over and over, trapped in a dingy room with a giant man chain smoking and threatening to throw her in a river. The image was brutal, and yet, somehow, T.D. Jakes' name kept coming back up, not as a victim, victim, but as someone Diddy used to build credibility with the public. That's where the lawsuit gets even darker. According to court documents filed by a former producer, Diddy allegedly planned to leverage his connection with Bishop Jakes to soften the impact of Cassie's original claims. Think about that. Behind the scenes, while women were getting hurt and silenced, Diddy was plotting how to use a respected pastor's name to clean up his image. And the wildest part? That plan might have actually worked, until Jakes turned the tables. Then the media got hold of leak footage, grainy hotel surveillance, no audio, just shadows moving behind doors. Everyone thought that was bad enough. But insiders say the real bombshell was an audio recording played behind closed doors in court. Phones were banned, so no one has the actual clip, but witnesses say the courtroom froze. It wasn't just Diddy's voice. It was others too. Some A-list, some in total shock to even be mentioned. The new witness list? That's where jaws dropped. No longer just former employees and minor execs. Suddenly, names like Will Smith, Meek Mill, and even Jay-Z were being whispered. Not confirmed as guilty of anything, but tied to this messy, tangled network. People started combing through old interviews, awkward party photos, cryptic lyrics. Twitter detectives were on the case like it was the Zapruder film. One moment in particular, Diddy calling Meek daddy during a shirtless pool party started going viral all over again, but now with a whole new vibe. And then came Bilal, Will Smith's former assistant. He went public with jaw-dropping claims about walking in on Will and Dwayne Martin in an intimate moment. Whether you believe him or not, the story went viral fast. Even comedians like Lunel joined the conversation, casually dropping bombs about who's been hanging out with Diddy and how long people have been keeping secrets. The culture wasn't ready. The trial was no longer about just Diddy. It had grown into a mirror for the entire industry, and no one liked what they saw. Legal teams scrambled, PR firms doubled their hours, but the damage? Already done. The question on everyone's mind now wasn't who was involved, it was who wasn't. Will Smith stayed quiet, as usual. But Jada, she went straight to the Breakfast Club like it was damage control hour, brushing off the allegations and trying to spin the narrative. Her PR team worked overtime, but the internet wasn't buying it. Everyone noticed how fast she responded and how Will still hadn't said a word. That silence spoke volumes. Meanwhile, Bilal, Will's former assistant, doubled down. He said he wasn't backing off and dared her to sue. His reasoning? If I'm lying, prove it in court. Bilal claimed he saw everything. Not just that one moment with Dwayne Martin, but a whole pattern of behavior behind the scenes. He described a system, parties, rehabs, manipulation. According to him, some of the people who got too close to Will and Jada were pressured into silence or sent off to get cleaned up in hush-hush rehab stints, even if they weren't addicts. It wasn't about helping them. It was about control. Power, keeping secrets locked down. Then the whispers about Meek Mill got louder. Old rumors about his connection with Diddy were dragged back into the spotlight. People dug up tweets, party clips, even screenshots of questionable search history. Some swore they found receipts of him looking up things that raised eyebrows. Of course, Meek jumped online, firing off defensive tweets like rapid fire, but it didn't help. It only made people dig deeper. The jokes, the nicknames, the shade, it all came back, and this time it hit harder. And let's not forget the claims about TD Jakes himself. One clip started circulating where someone accused him of bringing young boys from church to Diddy's parties for sacrifice. Wild, disturbing stuff. No official charges, but the damage was done. The idea that a man so respected in religious circles could be involved in something this dark shook a lot of people. Some defended him, others said it all made too much sense. The line between spiritual guidance and manipulation started to blur. Federal agents were now in play. A Homeland Security officer testified in court about Diddy's arrest at a hotel. They showed photos, baby oil bottles, Astroglide, bags of who knows what stuffed in closets. The vibe was grim. Diddy's daughters were in the room when it all came out. Witnesses say their faces went pale. Whatever innocence was left in the narrative vanished that day. This wasn't just about Cassie's lawsuit anymore. This was a RICO-level investigation. Sex trafficking, kidnapping, drugs, the whole 9 yards. By now, every day brought a new leak, a new name, a new headline. The web kept stretching. Musicians, actors, moguls, spiritual leaders. Some were accused of abuse, others of looking the other way, but they were all connected in some form. The term dark circle wasn't just symbolic anymore. It was starting to look like an actual network, a club that operated in plain sight for years, protected by fame and fear. As the trial surged on, former victims and insiders began finding their voices. People who'd been scared into silence were speaking up. Whistleblowers describing the manipulation tactics, the NDAs, the threats. Stories that had been dismissed as rumors now came with backup, testimonies, timelines, receipts. The public couldn't unsee it. It all boiled down to one thing: the truth was coming and there was no way to stop it now. Careers were crashing. Reputations were crumbling. The industry that once felt untouchable was now exposed under the harshest light imaginable. Not everyone would walk away from this clean, and for the first time in a long time, it looked like power might not be enough to bury the truth.